Hi everyone, today we are going to be discussing the language and inclusiveness observation assignment. This assignment is due on March 27th by midnight. I moved the due date by 1 week to give you all a little bit more time. And so what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the assignment itself, and then we're going to go over the language and inclusiveness observation category keys so you can understand it fully. So if you download the language and inclusiveness observation, this is what it should look like. And what we're going to do is I would love for you all during a planning period, if you have time, or at some point in your week, if you have time, to observe a colleague of yours. This could be a colleague that you admire. It could be a colleague that you're just very interested in how they teach. If you would prefer to be observed, since you all are experienced educators, and if you're interested in knowing how you stand up to this rubric, you're welcome to do that as well. So obviously this is usually done by my undergrads, but I think it's a really important experience because it makes you apply the CIP, Critical Inclusive Pedagogy, as well as the VAB that we're learning about this week, which is Validate, Affirm, Bridge, and Build, and how we apply that. So these are all things that you already know because you know how to observe another teacher. What I'd like you to do is to list the school that you're observing at. You may list the teacher if you'd like. If you prefer to have that remain anonymous, I'm fine with that as well. And then discuss the theme of the lesson, the concept being covered. Please be very brief. You can just do the I can statement or the learning objective. And then if you can tell if there's any children on IEPs or 504, and how much time is allocated to the lesson. And then you will see that there is a worksheet I want you to fill out, and you can hand fill it out and then scan it in, or you can type it up, whatever you prefer. This is a Word document, and you will see that there are different categories. And what I'd like you to write is very specific pieces of evidence that show these different categories. So this could be quotes that come out of a teacher's mouth. It could be the teacher walking around. It could be the teacher looking students in the eye while answering questions. It could be the teacher using orality, which means like how their voice will go up and down and how they're going to make sure the students know what's important from that lesson. How close the teacher gets to the students. Are they walking around? Are they stooping to their level, eye level? Are they standing over them and looking down? These are all really important things. Does a teacher keep time with their lesson? Are students coming in on time? So these are all different things. And then what instructional strategies does the teacher use? So are we seeing small group, think, pair, share, Nearpod, different things like that? What are their classroom management strategies? And all the other things in here. So if you're looking at these sections and you're like, Hollander, what does that mean, vocabulary for responding to student behavior or conversational patterns? That's when you would click on the PDF. And this is coming from the book that's no longer required for this course, but I am going to scan in the first chapter for you all. And if you're interested in it, I will absolutely share copies with you all. But if you go here, you can see, like for example, for communalism, the definition is we is more important than me. So culturally, students are more invested in the success of the whole class or their group than individual accomplishments. So if the teacher is saying, today we are going to be learning about, or we are going to tackle this text, or we are going to take this journey together to this time in history, versus saying, you are going to do this, you are going to accomplish this, that is that feeling of communalism in the classroom. Again, with eye contact, realness, how truth and authenticity are communicated to others can be culturally based. In some cultures, directness is considered polite and expected, while in others, indirectness are more appropriate. Obviously, in U.S. culture, we are a much more direct culture, but you may have students in your class where being more indirect is considered polite. So how does a teacher work with that balance of students who are going to be more direct versus indirect? And then again, we have orality, proximity, concept of time, conversational patterns, etc. So I hope you all enjoy this assignment. I always think it's really fascinating when we get to watch our colleagues, because we always learn something that we would like to adopt. And then also things that we might reflect on that we don't like, that we might also be doing in our own classroom, particularly when it comes to things like classroom management or time management. So I hope you all enjoy this assignment. What I expect is just bullets for your actual observation here. You do not need full sentences, so just bullets, things that you're jotting down, because at the end, I would like you to write a short reflection. So once you've observed and filled out your table above with your bulleted points, write a reflection on your observation. Include behaviors that encourage VAB or critical inclusive pedagogy, and maybe you saw some behaviors that inhibited VAB, and what you might adopt in your own classroom, or things that you might already do and now you feel validated that you see other people doing it as well. And then also, if you see things that you don't agree with, what you might do differently if you were to teach that lesson. Anyways, you all have a great week. If you have any questions, please email me about this assignment.